Hi, this is j-fallon, and you're watching Aussie Police Watch. So, Aussie Police Watch is primarily about looking at Aussie Australian police and their actions in the news. And if you don't know, I'm a former police officer with the Queensland Police Service. I was in the Queensland Police Service for over a decade. Primarily spent most of my time working in the covert surveillance region area of work, and I was seconded to the Crime and Corruption Commission, which looks after major crime, organised crime, and this kind of thing, and also government and police corruption allegations. So that's what I was. That's what I did within the police. So this is mainly reactionary. I just look at stories coming out about police in Australia and sometimes in other areas of the world, and give my reaction to that. Now, this story here, thanks very much to Man of Faith Ministries sent me this article. I missed it. I read it. Absolutely disgusting. But we'll get into it before I tell you my other thoughts on this.
Got my eyes straight ahead, got my head in the game. With the red light on, I'm just waiting for the change. Keep my head down low.
So the headline, obviously, we caved her. Cops vile line after bashing naked, mentally ill woman in a Sydney street. So body cam footage showing two former police officers, because they've since resigned, stomping on a naked, mentally ill woman before pepper spraying her genitals. What the heck? Have been played in court. Two police officers reportedly stomped on the head of a mentally ill woman before pulling her along the ground by her hair and pepper spraying her genitals, a court has heard. Wow. Former senior constables Timothy Trautsch and Nathan Black faced Penrith District Court on Thursday after pleading guilty to a series of assault charges over the welfare check. A welfare check. Imagine. Welfare checks are generally, people ring the police, they say, hey, I'm concerned about this person, and so police will go and do a check on them for their welfare. Imagine if you're the person who has called police or has gone to the police station and said, I'm concerned about this person, would you please go and check on the welfare of my family member? And then this happens. Ooh, so they've gone for a welfare check involving a 49-year-old woman in January of 2023. This clown here, Nathan Black, covering his face, the big sunglasses, the hoodie, black mask over his face, he should be showing his face. What a disgrace of a human being. And Timothy Trautsch, I don't know how you pronounce his name, who cares really? The court heard the woman was in a state of psychosis and ran away from the officers naked through the streets of Emu Plains in Sydney's west. At one stage, the woman grabbed Black's handcuffs, so the clown that has his face covered, grabbed his handcuffs with the pair deploying pepper spray as she lay on the ground unarmed. It's not usually pepper spray, it's capsicum spray, but anyway, so court documents reveal Black confirmed to hospital staff that he had sprayed pepper spray directly onto the victim's vagina, stating, yes, you have to do what you have to do. What the heck? The documents also reveal the pair continued kicking the woman as she lay on the ground before Trautsch told Black, that's enough. There could be cameras. Both offenders direct multiple kicks towards the victim's body and head, the court documents state. Look at this. Trautsch's video. There's Black there. It's his picture of his ugly face. Tosser. Body worn footage and CCTV was played to the court on Thursday after news.com.au fought a suppression order on the vision along with other media outlets. It sickens me the way these suppression orders are allowed to go ahead, especially when it comes to police or government, any government organisation doing the wrong thing. there needs to be light. There needs to be complete light shone on these types of incidents. Needs to be completely open and transparent. You should not. They shouldn't be allowed to even consider a suppression order. In my opinion, the body worn footage begins with the woman telling officers, "I'm terrified of you people. Go away." Well, gee, I wonder why she's terrified. She would have had. I did another episode the other day talking about how a woman who was fleeing domestic violence, and the police said, well, she could have taken all these other actions, but basically blaming the victim. And the thing is, she'd already had incidents in her life with police where she didn't really trust police to help her. She didn't trust them for her help. So this is the issue. She also told the pair that aliens were watching her. At one point, the woman defecates on the street with Black telling her to wash her dirty, stinky A, or giving her body wipes. Go on, wash your C, wash your A, go on, wash it out, Black says to the woman in the footage. What the F is going on here, hey? Okay. Despite the woman being unarmed, Black asks Trautsch if they have a taser or a long bat in their car. Yeah, you really shouldn't be tasering someone who's in that condition if they're having a bit of a mental episode like that. Tasering is probably the last thing you should be looking at doing. Anyway, so yeah, that will settle it down. I worked in Queensland Police, and these are obviously New South Wales. However, you're not supposed to be looking at tasering unless it's extremely violent. And I wouldn't do it anyway. The woman was eventually transported to Nepean Hospital. Court documents state that during the incident, Black at times turned off the audio recording function of his body-worn video and at points turned off the video completely. Yeah, both men were suspended. I'm sorry, I've just insulted all women out there by referring to these idiots as women. Both men were suspended after the incident and have since resigned from their jobs. The woman in the video has since died due to an unrelated illness. So court documents revealed that later that day, Black sent a 17-second video via Facebook Messenger that he recorded on his mobile phone to a different colleague who also worked at Nepean Police Area Command. Both OC cans emptied on her, he said, was effed, he wrote. The next day he wrote another message, she was effed. The whole body worn is so good, shows her being effed, he wrote. Nurses are lodging a complaint. Senior officer is investigating because we caved her, but she had a hold of the cuffs and we had no other options. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did have other options. I know for a fact. I've been in a kind of a similar situation dealing with a someone who ended up being very naked, having a bit of a mental breakdown, behaving in a similar manner. Actually, we did not treat her like this at all, not at all. It's hard to deal with, but you don't go and just beat the crap out of someone like this, naked and can't defend themselves. You still try. It's hard to deal with, but you're a police officer. You're supposed to learn to be able to deal. You're trained to be able to deal with these types of incidents, as disgusting and as painful as it might appear, it might seem at the time. That's what you train for, and you're supposed to have the temperament to be able to deal with these things. But if you haven't, this is the issue I see across Australia. Obviously, these guys are only fairly young, very young guys, and I would say fairly junior police officers, even though they're both senior constables. But the issue that we've had in Australia probably, it started, I believe, around the time that the COVID mandates came in, is police were getting pushed out, good police were getting pushed out of the job, and police, because they created a problem where they were losing too many police, and here in Queensland we're still losing a lot of numbers, great numbers every month, double figures every month. So they've started recruiting and they've started lowering the standard of officer recruits that they will accept, and they end up with clowns like this who think that this is the type of behaviour that you are that's acceptable. This is absolutely ridiculous. They need jail time, hopefully. Barrister David Barron, who represented the police in the matter, said the compensate. Oh, sorry, I've skipped a bit. So, so Trautsch has he was seeking workers' comp over assault. The court previously heard he'd lodged a claim for compensation after resigning from his job. Probably Barrister David Barron, who represented the police in the matter, said the compensation claim was resisted by the force, arguing that any psychological injury during the 2023 attack was the result of his own actions. We say this injury is suffered from this horrific assault, which was captured on CCTV and in part on body-worn camera. He told the court, psychological trauma is all based on this assault. He did what no police officer should do. So it hasn't come out yet. I don't believe what's actually going to happen with these two officers. I'm going to have to keep a track of what goes on. It's absolutely despicable. Look, this type of behaviour. This is why so many people in Australia now no longer trust police. That we've seen trust in government fall across the nation, and trust within police across the nation start to plummet. People continually have bad experiences where they're just let down by the police on the ground. When police have to investigate the actions of other police, they continuously just give them let them go, give them a free ride. I've heard and had experiences here where police have been questioned over incidents where they behaved poorly, and then you will have another detective investigate this police officer who's had the complaint against them, and nine times out of 10, 99% of the time, it's written off as well. This is just the way that they had to behave. This is what they had to do. They're taking actions. It was all well within their rights to behave this way. It's police. Just they're no longer a trusted part of society within Australia, and the hierarchy need to accept this. When you have incidents like this, and I don't just while it's the two police officers who are to blame, you need to look at the recruitment process and how did this type of officer even get into the job in the first place. Like I said, police across Australia, police jurisdictions across Australia have lowered their standards of officer of recruit who they will accept, and their training is absolutely pathetic now. That's why you look at all the incidents that have just gone on just within the last 6 months. You had an officer in Northern Territory who was actually charged with rape, 2 counts of rape. You had South Australia Police just the last few weeks. They've been dealing with a death in custody. They've gone to go and talk to a man. The man's ended up dead. Western Australia Police. We've had General Duties Officer assault an Indigenous male who seemingly, well, you see the footage. He wasn't doing anything. He was standing there. Maybe he was just being a bit annoying, but he was an intoxicated older gentleman. So the police officer, instead of just walking off, getting in his car, decides to throw him, and he threw him hard to the ground. Then gets in the car and just drives away. Anything could happen to the gentleman. You had the other couple of years ago, police and police got in trouble for this. They said, well, the officer didn't. The officer, instead of coming in and trying to address the situation and talk down the lady, he gets out and initiates an encounter which ended in her death because she was walking around with a knife and a pair of scissors in her hands. So he escalated the situation straight away. Instead of trying to engage with the lady and do anything else, he just escalates the situation. That was in Western Australia, and Western Australian police got in trouble for that. We've had multiple shootings. We've had more shootings than ever of police shooting civilians in Queensland with Queensland police. And New South Wales, we had them doing those illegal strip searches of people at a music festival and then denying that they did the strip searches, going to court, and then just before it goes to court, then they veto all the charges, drop all the charges, and then say, oh, yeah, our bad. We actually did do these illegal strip searches after gaslighting the people for several years, telling them, no, no, this didn't happen. None of this occurred. It turns out it did occur, and they had to admit failure. We had the police officer in New South Wales who tasered the extremely old lady who was getting around with a walking frame and a steak knife, can barely walk, and the police officer, 30-something-year-old idiot, white, just stands there and goes, oh, bugger it, pulls his taser, tasers her. Lo and behold, she died. Oh, and the judge didn't even give him jail time for it. So, people don't trust police in Australia. Go figure. And then you got these kinds of clowns running around beating the crap out of a naked, mentally unstable female who can't defend herself and who starts the conversation by saying, I don't trust you people. Go figure. We've got a problem in Australia. We've got a serious problem. And is someone in the government's going to stand up and say, "Oh, we need a royal commission," because that's always their answer. Let's go and spend millions of dollars on a royal commission. You already know what the answers are. You already know what the problems are. Someone needs to actually fix it, deal with it, and stop recruiting poorly. Lift your standards. But I don't think that's ever going to happen. I doubt it's going to happen. They're on a path now, and they're not really willing to fix it. The people have caused the problem. They're not willing to fix the problem. Anyway, this is all my opinion. Let me know what you think. This is just all around bad behavior, but we're going to have to keep a track of this and see what actually happens with these two officers. They deserve jail time for this crime. They are criminals. This is all my opinion. I'm j-fallon. Thanks for listening.
Got my eyes straight ahead, got my head in the game. With the red light on, I'm just waiting for the change. Keep my head down low.